motherfuckers who were secret serial killers. Now I'm gonna really, really like this one. Because I just like the idea of motherfuckers just dying and getting fucked up for my satisfaction though, you know what I'm saying? Not just me, but yours as well. Why us? And that's okay. Because we are the ones that matters most. Of course, there are those that are good enough that we can make exceptions for. But in the end, we come first to the point where it is a problem that the governments, that the world is not revolving around us, that it's not rigged, not biased for us. That's an issue.
Colonel Russell Williams, the man who flew the Queen. On the morning of July 23, 2009, Colonel Russell Williams of the Royal Canadian Air Force.
If this motherfucker was basically flying the Queen, motherfucker better fuck the Queen too, especially when it's young.
Was
They like them young anyways.
formally appointed commanding officer of
They don't just like them young, but they also just be fucking dogs too, so.
Canadian Forces Base Trenton, the largest and most strategically vital air installation.
It's no wonder the Europeans and the Asians together went and attacked Egypt together.
In the country.
Because they eat and fuck dogs together and separately. No wonder.
He was immaculate, respected by every.
It makes sense for why these guys are 0.4% Neanderthal animal infused in their DNAs.
Superior who had ever assessed him. He had flown Canadian prime ministers across the country. He had piloted the VI.
I'm not gonna front. Between an airplane and a yacht, I would like my own airplane and a yacht as well. But if I had to pick one, it would be a yacht. But I would really like an airplane though, you know what I'm saying? I just hate the maintenance of them both.
VIP aircraft carrying Queen Elizabeth II during her 2005.
Yeah, you can just see that this bitch is a demon, bruh. It's there in the smile, it's there in the skin, and it's there in their eyes.
Royal visit. He was, by any measure, the model of military excellence. Within weeks of his appointment, he broke into a neighbor's home and stole underwear from her bedroom drawer. Williams had begun his crimes in September 2007, nearly 2 years before his promotion, breaking into homes in the rural community of Tweed, Ontario, photographing himself in stolen.
What the fuck? Hey man, that's white man for you guys. That's white guys, bruh.
Lingerie, belonging to women and young girls. He was methodical and entirely undetected. He was, after all,
that is a lot more common than is reported. This is a lot common.
A man whose professional life required complete mastery of operational security. In November 2009, Corporal Marie-France Comeau, a 37-year-old woman who served directly under Williams's command at CFB Trenton.
Now the question is why the fuck isn't the bitch at home, basically worshipping dick and then cleaning the house and cleaning the sewers and turning these little bitches into prostitutes that they can grow up into and make so much money and pimp the shit out of them like a Jill Salim Maxwell, whatever the fuck you say that name, bitch name, and then collect all the money and then ship it to you and me as we benefit from it for just as lazy as we are with no work and all that stuff with no accomplishments to back them up, just simply because we matter most, just because we exist. That's the issue. Fuck this bitch.
Was found dead in her home. She had been sexually assaulted and asphyxiated.
Okay, yeah. The thing, right, is that because this bitch doesn't matter, I side with it. I side with this 100% because the bitch doesn't fucking matter. The bitch does not fucking matter. All it's for is just to use as our slaves. Yep.
Williams had noted that she lived alone the one time they had previously met. In January 2010, 27-year-old Jessica Lloyd was abducted from her home. Her body was later found on a rural property. Williams was caught not by any grand forensic breakthrough, but by Tinder found on 10/20.
Yeah. It looks like it's genetically, as in it's bone structurally trying to fight its way to staying young. But it looks old as hell. This thing is 27. This shit looks 59, bro. Like, no. This thing looks 51. 59 is kind of a stretch. 51 at most. At youngest, it's 36.
27-year-old Jessica Lloyd was abducted from her home. Her body was later found on a rural property. Williams was caught not by any grand forensic breakthrough, but by tire tracks. A police checkpoint near Jessica Lloyd's neighborhood had recorded vehicle impressions in the snow, and they matched a set belonging to Williams' truck. Ontario Provincial Police Detective Sergeant Jim Smith then conducted one of the most extraordinary interrogations in criminal history. In under 5 hours, the colonel who had flown the Queen went from composed senior officer to confessed murderer. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 sexual assaults, and 82 counts of breaking and entering.
Here's the thing. This motherfucker didn't do enough. It's not even basic 1 + 1, not even the bare minimum. This is not even a quarter of it. There's a bunch of motherfuckers that really do not matter. And also another issue is that this motherfucker failed to benefit us though. It failed to benefit us.
His uniform was burned, his medals were destroyed, his commission was shredded. The sentencing judge declared him sick and dangerous and said his wickedness had no equal. Williams is currently serving life in a maximum security prison in Port Cartier, Quebec. The Canadian military, which had trusted him with its most sensitive operations and its most distinguished passengers, was left to explain how a predator had risen, unchallenged, to the very top of its ranks. John Edward Robinson, the internet's first serial killer. In the spring of 1999, a woman left her home to work for a wealthy Kansas businessman she had met online. She told family and friends she was going to be his personal nurse. Then she was gone. Messages continued arriving for a while. Strange, stilted messages. And then those stopped too. She was not the first woman to vanish after contact with John Edward Robinson. Robinson had spent decades constructing an image of respectability.
Yeah, it looks like the type of motherfucker to go ahead of it, to have a prestigious image though, you know what I'm saying? As in he needs his reputation in order to basically swerve through it, some shit don't slip through the cracks.
In 1977, he forged letters from the mayor's office and a local charitable organization.
I mean, it's the same thing with the US. They literally even used a fake image to even go ahead and get their way sometimes.
Hosted a formal awards luncheon and presented himself with a Man of the Year award. He ran business schemes and mentorship
And the problem is that we didn't benefit from this shit. That's the bullshit part of all this.
programs. He was married with children, active in civic life, and by all appearances, leadership programs. He was.
So this bitch right here and this bitch over here, I don't know if this is a guy or a bitch, but either way, this motherfucker should have just went and used all its kids for prostitution, for slavery, for child labor. Child labor is great when it benefits us. That's the only way. If we are satisfied, then that's the great thing about it though.
Was married with children, active in civic life, and by all appearances a self-made success. The people whose names he had forged found out when they read about the banquet in the newspaper. Robinson simply moved on to the next scheme. As the internet emerged in the 1990s, Robinson became one of the first predators to weaponize it. He frequented BDSM chat rooms, posing as a wealthy and sophisticated partner. Women across the country trusted him. Some were lured to Kansas under the promise of relationships or employment. They were never seen again. When police searched his rural Kansas property and a storage facility in 2000,
Here's the thing. I like bitches that are basically willing to die for me and don't even fucking say you will die, just do it.
they found the
Not just mine, but yours as well. For me and for you.
bodies of 8 women, some stored in sealed barrels for years. Robinson was arrested, tried, and convicted on multiple counts of murder. He was sentenced to death in Kansas.
Fuck, they should have just let him free. They should have just let him free. Now, but at the same time, that's actually what I would say. If this motherfucker was our slave assistant, if not our slave.
And to multiple life terms in Missouri. He remains the clearest early example of a predator who used the internet as his primary hunting ground. A man who had spent decades mastering the art of being trusted and simply transferred that skill online. Randall Brent Woodfield, the I-5 killer. On the morning of January 18, 1981, 2 women were found shot dead inside a roadside business along Interstate 5 in Salem, Oregon. There was no...
Did this motherfucker shoot the bullet into the pussy and threw out? That would be an interesting thing to see. That would be intriguing, low-key.
apparent motive. No robbery, no struggle. just cold, calculated execution. It was not the first, and it would not be the last, in a string of murders, rapes, and robberies that stretched the entire length of the I-5 corridor from Washington state down through Oregon and into California.
Now when it comes to the rapes, right? The problem with that is why the fuck? It is a problem if the bitches try to resist. Just let it get, just let yourself get chowed. Sacrifice yourself to the joy that I have, to the satisfaction that I have. Well, the benefits though. Cause like that's a lot of money though in human trafficking though. Sacrifice yourself for us.
What made this particularly chilling was who Randall Brent Woodfield appeared to be. He had been selected by the Green Bay Packers in the 1974 NFL Draft. Tall, handsome, charming, and athletic, with a smile that disarmed people instantly. Women let him in. Businesses trusted him. He looked, by every measure, like a man going somewhere in life. The Packers cut him before the season started, but the image never left him. He carried that golden boy exterior into everything he did. Beneath it was something monstrous. Woodfield would approach victims at their workplaces, often posing as someone with legitimate business before attacking them. His crimes were deeply personal and savage. Investigators linked him to at least 44 sexual assaults and multiple murders across 3 states.
44, that's it.
The
Lame.
sheer geographic spread made him nearly impossible to catch, until forensic evidence and witness descriptions began converging on one man. He was arrested in March 1981. What sealed his fate was a combination of bite mark evidence, physical forensics, and witness identifications.
Motherfucker should have just amputated them shits though. Devo Vidi was smart for that.
Woodfield was convicted of murder and sentenced to life plus 90 years. The community was stunned, not just because of the violence, but because the man responsible had once been the picture of American athletic promise. H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer. In the summer of 1893, millions of visitors poured into Chicago for the world's Columbian Exposition, one of the most celebrated events in American history. The fairgrounds blazed with electric light and staggering architecture that most visitors had never seen before. Tourists arrived from every corner of the country, overwhelmed and wide-eyed. Just a few miles from the fairgrounds, a charming, well-spoken doctor had prepared a hotel just for them. His name was Dr. Henry Howard Holmes. Medically educated, elegantly presented, and apparently generous, he hired women from the city, offered rooms to young female visitors at reasonable rates, and was regarded in the neighborhood as an ambitious, upstanding entrepreneur. He had built the hotel himself.
Yeah, I'm sure that he has a lot of cash though if he's basically serious about the housing properties.
A large 3-story building at the corner of 63rd and Wallace Streets that he called the World's Fair Hotel. It was his crowning achievement. It was also a killing machine. Holmes, whose real name was Herman Webster Mudgett, had designed the building in deliberate secrecy, rotating construction crews so that no single worker would understand the full layout. Inside, the hotel was a maze of airtight, soundproofed rooms fitted with gas jets he could control from his private office. There were trapdoors, hidden stairways leading nowhere, a chute from the upper floors directly to the basement, and in that basement, a dissection table, a kiln large enough to incinerate a human body, and vats of acid.
Now I wish I was alive around this time just to see these shits happen though. But the only time I actually am for this shit is if this guy is my boy. If this is our friend, then okay. Because we're not just friends with anybody.
He sold his victims' skeletons to medical schools for profit. He targeted young women new to the city, employees, guests, fiancés, seduced them, had them sign over insurance policies or transfer their assets, and then they seduced them, had them.
I thought these were his hands. No, these are shoulders. These are the hands, though, just rubbing them together. You know what I'm saying?
Sign over insurance policy.
They both look like ovaries, though, like with basically the Illuminati.
Or transfer their assets, and then they vanished. No one came looking because no one knew where to look. Holmes left Chicago after the fair ended in 1893, still running schemes across multiple states. He was finally caught in 1894, not for murder, but for insurance fraud. He had conspired with his associate Benjamin Petezel to fake Petezel's death and claim a $10,000 insurance payout, then killed Petezel for real and murdered 3 of his children to cover his tracks.
Why the fuck did he take the kids and basically sell them off? And then give that money to us? The fuck?
A fellow inmate
Now he's a bitch for this, low-key.
he had confided in tipped off investigators, and Holmes was arrested in Boston. He was tried in Philadelphia and convicted of Petezel's murder. In custody, he confessed to 27 murders, though historians now believe the confirmed death toll was closer to 9, with the true number likely higher. Holmes sold his confession to the Hearst Newspaper Corporation for $10,000. He was hanged on May 7, 1896, at Moyamensing.
Yeah, I hate the fact that basically we didn't get to see that shit too, even happening to the Ku Klux though. That's a problem, we didn't get to see that. Me didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see that.
Prison in Philadelphia. Before his execution, he requested that his coffin be encased in cement and buried 10 feet deep. He said he feared grave robbers. Many have speculated it was the final act of a man who had spent his entire life making people disappear, wanting, at the end, to disappear himself. The World's Fair Hotel burned to the ground in 1895. Andrew Cunanan, the socialite. In the early 1990s, if you moved in the wealthy social circles of San Francisco, you almost certainly knew Andrew Cunanan, or at least knew of him. He was impossible to miss. Devastatingly charming, effortlessly witty, and possessed of a reported IQ of 147, Cunanan had attended the
And yet the motherfucker failed to basically basically go ahead and like slave away for our joy.
prestigious Bishop's School in La Jolla, California, on scholarship, where classmates voted him least likely to be forgotten. He spoke multiple languages fluently. He had read the entire encyclopedia by age 10, reportedly, and could hold a conversation on almost any subject at any dinner table in any city. His yearbook quote read, "Après moi, le déluge." After me, the flood. By the time he landed in San Francisco, Cunanan had learned something about himself. Wealth was a language he spoke better than almost anyone, even without any of his own. He cultivated relationships with wealthy older men who funded his lifestyle. Sports cars.
Bruh. And he didn't get... You see, the fact that this motherfucker just basically went and did basically lived the life we were supposed to have. The lifestyle and have a bunch of sugar daddies and sugar mamas though. And just basically pimp rich motherfuckers though. For our own, without us. Yeah, fuck this guy. Now, here's my thing. I am the type of guy where basically, yes, I would basically go fuck on Dubai sugar mamas though. Just for cash and all that stuff on street. Of course. I'm not like you niggas. I'm not like these niggas, I meant to say. I'm not like these fucking niggas, bro. I have bitches buy me shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't buy shit for bitches. No. Unless I really like that bitch, then okay, probably.
European trips, designer clothing, in exchange for his company and charm. He was not a kept secret. He was a fixture.
And all you had to do is just basically be around, dog.
Invited everywhere. Known, liked, and admired by people who had every reason to be selective. He told people his father was an Israeli millionaire. He told people he had connections. He told people many things, and most believed him, because he always knew exactly what to say. On April 27, 1997, he killed his first victim, his friend Jeffrey Trail, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Days later, he killed his former boyfriend, David Madsen.
Oh, so he's... Okay.
Then Chicago real estate developer Lee Miglin was found dead in
Okay, it's like... Where the fuck is all the money though?
his garage.
Nobody's a bitch though, so of course he didn't take it and basically ship it to us.
His body showing signs of prolonged and deliberate torture. Cunanan needed a vehicle and killed cemetery caretaker William Reese in New Jersey for his truck. He was placed... needed a vehicle and killed cemetery caretaker William
This shit right here kind of looks like a pussy-ass bush, bro.
Reese in New Jersey for his truck. He was placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. And yet on the morning of July 15, 1997, Gianni Versace, one of the most famous fashion designers in the world, walked home from a cafe to his Miami Beach mansion on Ocean Drive and a man with a pistol approached him on the front steps and shot him twice in the back of the head. Witnesses gave chase. He disappeared. 8 days later, Cunanan was found dead on a Miami houseboat from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Oh, fuck this. This motherfucker could have lived long enough for us to use him. We could have used this thing and to make it our own slave to benefit off of it.
He had killed 5 people across 4 states in 3 months. No definitive motive.
Whoa.
Gunshot wound. He had killed 5 people across 4 states in 3 months. No definitive motive was ever established. He left no note. The FBI found almost nothing among his belongings. He became the man who had spent his life chasing fame and admiration, only to draw his last breath forgotten on a stranger's boat. And the flood he had promised came only for the people unlucky enough to get close to him. Dean Corll, the Candyman. In the early 1970s, in Houston's Heights neighborhood, there was a man every kid seemed to know. His name was Dean Corll, and
Okay, this kind of looks like the kind of motherfucker that will go ahead and basically run like an ice cream truck.
he worked at his family's candy company not far from Helms Elementary School. He was cheerful, soft-spoken, and generous, handing out free sweets to the children of the neighborhood without being asked, letting them hang around the shop, greeting their parents with an easy, familiar smile. Between 1970 and 1973, Dean Corll abducted, sexually tortured, and murdered at least 28 boys and young men from the Heights area,
Okay, so this guy also swings the other way. He's a Luciferian ass fuck.
making him, at the time, the most prolific serial killer in American history. Corll did not act entirely alone. He recruited 2 teenage
Co-conspirators.
accomplices, David Brooks and Elmer.
Okay, this bitch looks like a guy, bro. What the fuck is that Adam's apple? Yep. These are, these are dick and balls, bro. These trannies, bro. These transformers, bro. These are God's abominations.
Wayne Henley, paying them in cash and gifts to lure boys to his home under the guise of parties. The victims, most of them between 13 and 20 years old, and many from poor or troubled households, were restrained on a specially built torture board, assaulted, and murdered. Their bodies were buried across 3 locations: a rented boat storage shed in southwest Houston, a wooded area near Lake Sam Rayburn, and beaches along the Gulf Coast.
Now here's the thing. Me personally.
And murdered. Their bodies were buried across 3 locations: a rented boat storage shed in southwest.
I need too much money to go ahead and basically get reap the benefits of it all. Like with me, I just hate the fact that I don't have enough flaws to generate wealth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fucked up enough to get my hands dirty to basically make the millions I know I should have. And also give some to you guys too. So I already failed, my bad. And yeah, but I need too much money in order to live like this.
West Houston, a wooded area near Lake Sam.
So basically there's just morning woods everywhere and just smoking trees and just on the ski.
Rayburn, and beaches along the Gulf Coast. When boys vanished from the Heights, police classified them as runaways. No one, seemingly, looked too hard. The crimes came to light because one of Corll's own accomplices turned on him. On August 8th,
Of course this bitch, okay, yeah, just kill it. Just kill that thing. Of course you can't trust bitches, bro. Bitches are unfuckable. That's why. They're third-class citizens at most, if not slaves that are on the loose.
1973, 17-year-old Elmer Wayne Henley called police after shooting Corll 6 times at his home in Pasadena, Texas. He claimed self-defense. Corll had turned on him. Henley and Brooks then led investigators to the burial sites over 2 days, one grave after another, in a procession of horror that shook seasoned investigators to their core. 28 bodies were eventually recovered. A 29th was found a decade later. The full count may never be known. The community was devastated in a way that went beyond ordinary shock. These were not victims found in some distant city. They were the boys of the Heights, children who had grown up on those streets, who had almost certainly stood in front of the Corll Candy Company and taken something sweet from his hands. The man who had given them candy had also taken everything else. His face, that ever-present smile, had been the last thing many of them ever saw. Dean Corll never faced trial. He was already dead, but the neighborhood he had preyed upon and the families of the boys who never came home were left to carry the weight of a betrayal so complete that it still haunts Houston to this day. If you'd like to see more...
And nothing happened to the bitches though. Nothing fucking happened to the bitches. I mean, that's what human trafficking is for. They'll deal with it though. As long as we benefit from it though. And thanks for being here. Thanks for hearing what I gotta say. And yeah, I'm out. Even as generic as I sound. Thanks for being here.